Hi, everybody. Mr. Samuelis here. Okay, so we're playing a little game. Doesn't matter. Here's the notes. 2-7. All right, we already start with a frozen screen. Whee! I love my life. All right. All the stresses. Oh, here we go. Good. Solving rats. What's that? Solving rational equations. I just yelled at the students. I understand how the book jumps around with stuff. We just graphed rational functions. Are you going to collect the homework today, Mr. Samuels? I forgot first hour. I don't care. That just gives you an extra day to do it. What's the difference? Yeah, I hate him. All right. So now all of a sudden it's solve rational equations. So whatever I do to one side, say it fourth hour. And because that's the case, we have an equation with that rule, then I can explain how this happens. By the way, we're having a little contest in fourth hour. I said, hey, try to get this answer. Nobody got it right. Okay, here we go. Why would I multiply both sides by 5a? It is the common denominator of all the fractions. So here's what happens next, and this is how I'm going to write it the rest of the way. Okay, this times this on the left side's fine, but wouldn't this have to be distributed, and isn't it 5a over 1? So doesn't the 5a belong up in the numerator, right? So this is how I'm going to write it the rest of the way, guys, because this is review. I hate when he says that. Okay? But also, it's what happens. Everything gets multiplied by that common denominator because of the rule. Whatever I do to one side, as long as I do it to the other, the equation is still balanced. And then, of course, what happens here is the 5's cancel, and you're left with an A equals. Don't lose your... I'm having people putting the goofiest stuff down, man. Just non-mathematical things. Don't lose your equal sign. I don't even know how to express what's going on there when that happens. But anyway, then I told my fourth hour, this is probably the biggest mistake why people did not get the right answer. But let's finish this. What do I have to do with that 5? Distribute it. What do you think you have to do with the minus sign? Distribute it. There's mistake number 1. So I should put the 5 here, a plus 3, and then I bet you this is the majority of the reasons why you got the wrong answer. You did not distribute a minus sign. It's one of the most basic things that happen. Anyway, I'll shut up now. As I could write a plus and negative or minus 5a, minus 15. And then you should, come on, this is, okay, you don't want to hear it, but Sammy Samuels is doing this in 7th grade, solving this equation from here on out. So I should be able to add 5a. I should be able to take 1 minus 15 and get negative 14, and then divide by 6, and then what happened? That's not the answer. What do you always have to do, everybody? Simplify or reduce. All right, so within the game, everyone has 0 points. That really should be enough to tell you what the best way is to solve a rational equation. So here's the next one, game on. Oh, by the way, no, I'm a liar. How can we get extraneous solutions? Well, let me just ask you this, looking at the original beginning, what couldn't A equal? There is no way A could equal this because then this would be undefined. I guess I gave it away. A could not equal 0. So sometimes they say, like if I was going to sign a book homework, they ask you to state restrictions, all right, before you solve. And what could happen is you could do valid math and come down and solve, and you get A equals 0. And then what would you say about that? Wait a minute. A can't equal 0, so what kind of solution is it? Extraneous. Extraneous, I guess the vocab word is you did valid math, you got an answer, the answer just doesn't work, and sometimes that happens in math. That's what the word extraneous means, at least in my definition. All right, game on. I really should get more people get this right now after the first example. All right, so we got some points that Team 3 is in the lead in fourth hour here. And then this is for your note purposes, okay? I'm sorry. I see the screen, but the presentation was frozen. All right, now they're ready to go. Okay, so I started it off. The least common denominator is 3x squared. I really can't help you on, how do you get that least common denominator? I don't know. That's something we're supposed to know coming in. I can't explain everything. All right? So the least common denominator is 3x squared, and when you distribute it, it just really gets hit in each numerator. So really, as an efficient CAT student, this is what I want everybody writing. Step 1. And then the x squareds only cancel. That leaves a 3 times the x minus 4. The 3x squareds cancel, and then on the right, the x squareds cancel. That leaves 3 times 1. And then you get this equation that, okay, fine, Lexi Samuels can't solve it, but Sammy can, the 7th grader, and that's the problem. We're getting a lot of stuff going on in here that we're missing our basics, and I've complained about it all year long. This is the student that really needs probably daily affirmations and tutoring if you don't know how to go from this point on. And I'm waiting for the computer to allow me to write. You know how this happens in class. This is getting worse and worse. I don't know what the lockup is, but we're going to leave it on YouTube just so you know the suffering that Mr. Samuels goes through daily to try to teach on this stupid little computer. And it's still stuck, and it's longer than ever. What is going on here? I don't know how to. I forget. Maybe I hit Control Alt Delete. I got to jump through. I feel like a circus clown at a. Honest to gosh, I have no idea what I can do to get this to work. Hey, thank you, Mr. Computer. Okay, let's get rid of all those scribbles that actually came out when I was trying to get this to work. I have no idea what to do. None. Okay, anyway, let's continue. So go to tutoring if you don't know how to go from this step on. All right. And it really is. I don't care. That's what I said about what do you get out of a class? What you take. And if you come in with some math deficiencies, we got to do something about it. All right, I'm going to do this fast. Minus 12 plus 2 is minus 10. Then I add 10 to both sides because it was negative 10, and that's 13. Then, of course, I divide by 3. You can see how that results. All right. Oh, I'm sure we're going to get locked up again, but here's the next contest. Now, hopefully we get more hands. This is the problem. First hour, some people never raised their hand, so they never got one correct throughout this whole set of I just find that a problem. Okay, it's a little different, but it's the same idea, even though we have a little different situation here. Okay, clock is on. All right, only 2 people got this one right in 4th hour. Okay, and then I was lamenting about the 1st hour, how some people never raised their hand once after doing the same. Okay, so here's what's a little different. The LCD is just that k plus 6, but I'm still going to do the same thing. I'm going to multiply both sides by k plus 6. Okay, fine. Maybe you don't get what happened here. When I take this side and multiply it by k plus 6, you're actually multiplying it by k plus 6 over 1. So yes, the k plus 6 belongs up in the numerator. Why didn't anyone tell me? It's frozen on the screen here, and I'm just like jibber-jabbering, and no one sees anything that I'm writing. Okay? And then this k plus 6 comes up here. Then I know the people that half listen, I know what they're going to do. They're going to start foiling k plus 6 times 3k minus 9. What is the reason we are multiplying by the LCD? To get rid of the what? Fractions, so that we can make this easy and make it a Sammy Samuelish 7th grade question. Okay? K plus 6 comes here, and k plus 6 comes here after we distribute. And then destruction. Destruction. Oh no! 1 times k plus 6 is just k plus 6. And then this, it's just 4 because the k plus 6, oh, here we go. Minus, do you see that minus sign? Okay, minus destruction. Now this requires parentheses. What does that mean about the minus sign? You're supposed to distribute it. K plus 6, how many people distribution error was what killed you? See, I told you this happens. Don't feel guilty about it. Just stop doing it. That's another burn, man. You can't keep getting burned by the same errors over and over again, because you'll keep getting wrong answers then. All right? And then that's for sure the case. Okay, I'm going to do this fast. I'm going to add 3k to both sides because I should be able to do that. Maybe Sammy Samus, wait, what'd you do there, Dad? You're a CAT student, senior. You should know what I did there. 9 plus 4 is 13. Subtract 6. 13 minus 6 is 7. And then sometimes people make a mistake here. They get 7 or 4 sevenths. say if it was like, I'll write this. I get this a lot. When they have this, then they divide both sides by 7. Is that right? No, you got to get what by itself? Okay, so I get that a lot too. These are little errors that can't happen. Or they don't finish. They look at it, okay, 4/7. No, it's actually 7/4. That's a completely different thing. Okay, we only had 2 hands up last time. So again, my hope is that we get more because we should be able to get the pattern now. Okay. Oh, wait. Oh, no. This one looks impossible. So I have the beginning steps. Oh, it's frozen. Let it go. Hey, that's coming out here shortly. How many people have a fraction again? Oh, really? The answer is -7 over 1. That's a fraction. All right, raise your hand if you got -7 over 1. Oh no! You're the okay. All right, I gotta pause and do my points, and then we'll cover this one. Ugh, frustrating. We had a lockup in the computer again. All right. So now this is where it gets ugly, but we do have to factor in order to find out what the least common denominator is. And usually this does work out pretty easy. Gives you a hint that maybe one of the factors is x plus 1. But the other 2 denominators factor to be that. So this is the LCD. And yes, you're going to multiply both sides by this LCD, and that means these end up in the numerator of every fraction so that you can start destroying stuff. And then that's how this makes, this one is infinitely, this is so ridiculously easy after this first step. You get equals x plus 6 here. You can put it in parentheses, but it really doesn't have a meaning. And then that just equals 1 over on the other side. That is the most basic equation you could have to solve after you're done. This is 8. You subtract 8 from both sides, you get x equals -7. Right? Okay? All right, so hopefully you get more hands. That was like over 3/4 of the class in my 4th hour. Got that one right. All right. Okay, so the onus is on you here, MVPs. I don't think we have anything much different here, but something does kind of happen a little different. Ready? Shucks. Okay, put your pencil down. How many people have the answer? Z. Huh? 1 and -2/3. Raise thy hand. Is that it? Is that the only hands I have? Okay. Let me do the points real quick before we continue this. Oops. Shoot. After I pause, it seems like I lose my screen. All right. We're still good. The computer didn't act up on me. All right. Accidentally, I showed these first couple steps. I meant to have the computer frozen. But this chicken scratch I guess you see up here is I wanted to factor these 2 denominators are equal. Shh. Okay, so I factored out an n squared and that left an n plus 8. So the LCD is n squared times n plus 8, and then that's what you multiply everything by. That's what you see up at the top here. Then, of course, everything cancels in the first one. Everything cancels in the second fraction. Only the n plus 8s cancel in the third fraction. Really hope you understand this. And this can only work because whatever you can do to one side is okay as long as you do it to the other because we're solving equations. This is a very specific method for this kind of question. Then, of course, we have to subtract n. And we have to subtract 3. And I would really appreciate one-step factoring on this because what equals 3n squared? What has to be here and here? I'm still getting people that don't know how to factor. They don't know this, what I'm doing. This is where this is going to be a major problem the whole year. I don't think you're going to make it if you do not figure out how to factor and do this fast and understand the whole encompassing idea of factoring. And then what equals -2? What could it only be? 1 and 2, and one of them have to be what? Negative. And then just looking at the question, knowing what FOIL is, this would be -3n if I FOILed here to there, and then plus 2n for the inner. That's why it's plus 2 minus 1. All right? And then, of course, use the zero product property. N equals 1, and subtract 2 and divide by 3. I don't have to explain the other one. Okay? Only had like 3 people in 4th hour get that one right. I think this was a rough one for the other hour as well. Hey, that gives me value, right? Taught you something there, I guess, or you can see from your mistakes. This is a good game, too, for mistake analysis. It actually keeps you involved in the notes as opposed to some that don't do jack squat during the notes. All right? Holy cow! But you know what? The way these are constructed, they're actually pretty nice. They're actually pretty nice to you. So I'll press pause. Some people say, I can't do this. Well, just look at it and look at what we've done the last few things. It doesn't really get any more complicated, and it really is the same as the last question, in a way. Not that far down, someone just threw it on the ground. 9876. Oh, did you get in the group? Okay, well, okay, then we'll continue tomorrow. 0, 11, and 1. Raise your hand. Okay, we'll press pause. We'll tally the points. Look, and then she's new in the game, and she already gets the team points. 1 point, but... Shh. All right. All right, so here's what's happening. This is why the book is your friend sometimes. So go back to your normal seat as you watch the end of this. Then I'll show you something that I have online. The book's your friend because... Yeah, go back to your normal seat, everyone. What is he doing? I don't know. Someone was randomly standing up in the room. Okay. That was weird. All right, 4n plus 2, n plus 5. Shh. 4, and I don't care if the question, you have to squeeze it up here. The point is, when you multiply by the LCD, yes, these all get shoved up in the numerator. I don't know what I'm writing there. But then things cancel. This is the whole idea of whatever you do to one side. Say it. Oh my gosh, there's an epidemic in this hour. Okay, 1 times 4n plus 2. I told them to take their vitamins. 4n squared, this cancels with this completely. And then this only cancels. Be careful if this was a minus sign, but it's not. But if it was, you'd have to distribute the minus sign into the n plus 5. Number 1 error. And then combining like terms. Okay, so this is n squared minus 8n plus 13. But then this is 4n plus 2. Even with the ones that got this right, this annoyed me. When you subtract 4n and subtract 2, that's 0 on the left side. And then you get n squared, subtract 4n minus 12n, subtract 2, this is 11. And then this is why good FOILers are good factors, and this is why some students are knocking it out of the park and some are severely and totally behind, not being able to factor that quick. What multiplies to 11 and adds to negative 12 when it's n squared. This is the kind of factoring that we should be able to do. Okay, so I did want to cover that real fast. That's how I get those 2 answers from the zero product property. Then I'm going to go to the calendar. Ah, that's illegal anyway. That was your pictures almost. You put my picture on the internet. I'm suing. Okay, no one's watching these videos anyway. All right, so online, here's this another computer. What's this something? This is just, this computer hates me. Okay, here we go. Where is it at? All right. So the notes that I have provided, I just wanted to show you a couple things from it. If you can watch if this allows me to do it. Oh my gosh. This computer is so dysfunctional. Okay. All right. I'm going to zoom in on this. I think I can. All right. Different examples of things explained. But here's what happens. What if it's not factorable when you're done? What if this is not factorable? 8x squared minus 30. This is not one that we had here. Do you know what to do if it's not factorable? How do you get solutions? Do you use the what? I shouldn't have to teach that. If you run into that on your worksheet or on a test, that is not something that, oh, that's not fair. Incorrect. We already know how to solve with the quadratic formula. And then look at what happened. How come in this particular question, -4 was found with good math, but it's crossed off? Don't just say it's extraneous. Why is it extraneous? What happens when I try to plug -4 back into this question? You get a 0 in the. So the word extraneous solution means you did valid math, but sometimes the answers just don't work for various reasons. So just make sure you look for that as well. You should be checking the answers when you're done. All right, so the notes online kind of show a couple more of those things about making sure answers work. So we should be checking them at the end at least to make sure you don't get a 0 in the denominator when you plug it in. Oh, shoot! You guys didn't get the worksheets. Oh, no. I'm the worst teacher ever. Hold on. Who wants the worksheet, or else you're going to have 2 assignments tomorrow?